Hey everybody, Conscious Medium Brandon Ross, and I'm excited to come to you today about the Mercury Retrograde coming up. Sometimes they kind of get a bad rap, but this one kind of has some twists and turns that you might kind of enjoy. Before we go any further, like and subscribe this channel. Consider being a member. The entry level is all about making sure that you see videos first, and then the upgraded one is a student level where you get stuff like meditations, coaching 101, special events every month. It's kind of a cool thing. The people that have just signed up for it are about to get a deluge of information about all the things that they've already signed up for. Be part of that and subscribe today. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about Mercury Retrograde, and we're going to go through the signs. All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's dive right in. First of all, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communications. Akin to Gemini, but kind of the trickster of a lot of the astrological stuff that goes on. It's the smallest of the planets. Yes, Pluto is a planet. Gosh, do we have to go through this every single time? But smallest of the personal planets, short of the moon. And what it tends to do when it goes retrograde is cause havoc. What a great time to be causing havoc right now. Well, listen, communication is one of those things that can just get screwed up naturally on a regular basis. But when Mercury goes retrograde, you've got to pay attention to things like rereading an email before you send it. If a computer's on the fritz or the car's on the fritz, it's probably going to go during this time. There's a lot of things that when it comes to communication and getting your point across in electronics, that Mercury is going to wreak havoc on it. Well, this one's a little bit different, guys, because don't forget, we're coming out of some eclipse season. We've got another one coming up. We've done some soul-searching stuff. We've got Pluto in return in the U.S. We've got a lot of factors going on. This retrograde, I think, is actually kind of a little bit more of a reprieve. Now, let's kind of go through each one of the signs here. Yes, I have notes to this. My gosh, you think I memorized everything? Listen, Aries, thank you so much for being part of the journey here, Aries. Yeah, I'm going to go straight through and I'm going to tag it. Don't worry. Aries, you, my friend, actually have a very cool thing coming up here, right? You've got a lot of dynamics that are really kind of coming into play, and you feel a little out of sync with work. The summer tends to do that to you, Aries, let's be honest. Well, this is your opportunity to really kind of right-size this, right? You've also got to recognize to put yourself first, right? The mask falls down, got to put it on yourself first before you can help anybody else. This is a great conversation for you to get this done. It's a great time to do this. And by the way, have an open, honest conversation with yourself and how much you do for others. That is a great time for you to do this. Told you it wasn't all bad, everybody. When it gets better, Taurus, thank you so much for being part of things here. You Taurinians really like to get down to business, don't you? I know you. I see you. Well, listen, you're actually happening in the 6th house right now. So this is about your personal stuff. This is about you getting to the bottom of things. By the way, you're not cutting corners anymore, Taurus. You're not gonna do the cheat on the diet. You're also going to pay attention to your health. You're not going to subsegrate this. You're going to actually really get down to the nitty-gritty of what makes practical sense, right? Oh, and by the way, a little bit of a romance time. If you're taking care of yourself and you've done the work, it'll come in for you here, Taurus. This is a great time. Don't tell me Mercury retrogrades are all bad, Taurus, especially when you meet that special someone. You see what I'm saying? All right, listen, Gemini, you're on torqued position right now. You got Mars and Gemini right now. The idea that your retrograde is actually happening in your 5th house, down, bam, 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 bam. It's not Barry White's fault, I'll tell you that much right now. Listen, this retrograde, and of course the retrograde goes to the early October, October 1st, 2nd, depending on which chart it is that you look at. This is kind of a U-turn for you to take a look at some of the things that you might not have done right, and going back into those relationships to really kind of manage it. One of the things that you're also going to really kind of work with is playful energy. Use it for good. No more of this mischief, Mr. Gemini, Miss Gemini. I see you. You got a lot of playful energy here. You got to use it the right way, though. Great time to reconnect with loved ones, right? Great way for you guys to be like, I got a bag and I'm ready to go. That 3rd week in September is going to be sparked, full of love and a little bit of lust. Like I said, it's not Barry White's fault, Gemini, but play your cards right and do the right thing. Cancer, Cancerian energy. Cancer, you're taken to the 4th house. This is actually about getting your home life right. This is about getting supportive people around you as life changes, right? You're also kind of closing out some drama in the house, in the home, in the everything, right? It's about being clarified and making sure that you really, I mean, you've got this Virgo energy, which doesn't really pair well with you there, Cancer. And it's sitting in the fourth house. So it's kind of like if it's not being done right, it's going to self correct, right? The focus is on the home, the focus is on the changes that are coming. You're going to be okay in the long run. But this retrograde is going to really peel back the layers a little bit. And you're gonna land on your feet, but you're just getting some things right. Cancer, you got a little bit of a tough lot with this one, but hang in there. The water signs get a little beat up in this one because it goes back and forth between this earth into the earth into air. I think like today's my first day, but earth into air. That's kind of what's going on for you. That's why it's kind of like, well, is it foundational or do we have to think of things in a different way? When it comes to the home, that's the last thing you want to do, Cancer. You're so stuck in that. This is your chance to really kind of upgrade it and find a new way to do things. It's actually encouraging if you're really connective to this, and you got to be transparent with this because the people around you are going to see through you. Now, Leo, can we talk for a second? Leo, you're going to be sitting here in the in the communication house. You're going to be ready to go and make sure that this is a great time for you to start to take a stage. This is a great time for you to start to pronunciate. This is a great time for you career-wise, right? You're going to be so clear with what you're talking about. You're not going to mess with it. Measure twice, cut once. Make sure you see it all the way through. And by the way, by the time you hit October, it's almost like this is cleanup time for Leos. As you get into October, you are full on Leo again, but right now you're doing the dirty work, right? The second house is the primary house for you, and this is really about being industrious about your relationships, making sure things are grounded, not so grounded, whatever the case may be. You're just basically your bullshit meter is going off and you're going to act on it. Now, Virgo, come on, Virgo, what does this mean? Now, Virgo, you're sitting there actually in the second house as well. But your focus is actually going to be on money. I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. You're going to be working your contacts left and right there, Virgo. And by the way, you kind of stole this retrograde a little bit. You know, you kind of like tweaked in a little bit. You're like, yeah, I know it's a Libra one, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of take my own. What else is new, Virgo? I'm just kidding. You're really great sauce here. So one thing that you're going to also really kind of look at is that you've got to be sure about your finances, Virgo. You went a little willy-nilly during the summer. It's all good. Now's the time to tighten that out. Long-term planning as well. This retrograde is good for your long-term health. Now, Libra, the one that kind of stole the show here in all of this, right? One of the things that you are always hoping for is that easy breezy lemon squeezy. Well, take a deep breath, right? You're going to go a little retro here, and you're going to go back in time just a touch to go back to the things that made you great to begin with, right? What does that mean? Well, listen, people misunderstand you all the time, Libra. Don't go back to the way that you used to do things. Be very clear with what you need to do moving forward. That's the important thing to this. This retrograde is a little tricky for you because you'll land on your feet here into that first week in October. Here's the trick of it, though. Here's the trick of it. Try not to offend anybody and you're going to be fine. Try not to piss people off. You know, nobody cares. Too much of me talking about myself. Shh. But you're going to use it to your advantage because there's a few people on that list of yours that you just need to get rid of. This is a good time to do some cleanup and use that witty sarcasm there, Libra, and just be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, Scorpio. Scorpio, how can I make this any more about you? Well, this is a time for you to actually go back and do some of the things that you hadn't done before. Scorpio, you're a quiet taskmaster. You're always up to something. And this is your time to kind of go back and be like, what is the mass stuff I didn't do before? What is the stuff I need to get done now? Well, one of the things that you're going to do is revisit your boundaries. This is your 12th house. So in the 12th house, the house of the undoing, it's also in conjunct for Pluto for you, which is your power base. So this is about drawing some hard boundaries. This is stuff at work saying, I'm not going to work 13 hours a day. This is you saying to your friend going, if I pick you up at the airport, you better be there or I'm just going to keep on driving. It's also about those things that you are just not going to, you're firming up your energy. Because Scorpio, as we go into Libra and then Scorpio season, you are going to be all about an explosion next year, your year. So the way that the water signs are really going to react to next year is really important of the things that we're doing now. Cancer, go back and watch what I talked about. Scorpio, you've got this though. You're going to be able to do something. You know, you're going to be a little cold too, right? You're going to be a little cold turkey with some people. Don't think for a minute that you're not worthy of what these boundaries are. It's important for you to get there. Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining us. Sagittarius, is there anything better than a frenemy? I mean, listen, you are so irreverently optimistic that you keep people around that don't deserve your energy anymore. Well, Sagittarius, get ready for some miscommunication. By the way, this is one of those things that you'll get a text that'll say, I can't believe how beautiful that sunrise was this morning. I'm so glad to share it with you. And then you respond, bitch, I was in bed. What is this about? And then all of a sudden, you've revealed whatever it is that frenemy is about. Well, guess what? This is your time to do this. Mercury retrograde is really harsh on Sagittarius because it's a wake-up call. It's a cold water bath to you thinking that everything in the world is okay. But it's okay for you to recognize, if you prepare for it, know you're going to have some tough conversations. If your gut feeling is there, Mercury retrograde is going to bring it out. And by the way, this whole thing about not saying any, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's why I'm saying you could walk away from this and say nothing and come out the winner. So pay attention to that, Sagittarius. You deserve better. Capricorn, oh gosh. Capricorn, you're sitting in the 10th house with this one. This is kind of balls, if I may say so myself. This is about professional ambition. And you know what? This is a time for you to step up. This is the type of thing where you also have to regenerate. So there's two things going on here. You're plotting for the future, but then you're also taking a small step back and being like, I'm not going to do it all for everybody. I'm not going to be the one that I have to, do everything for everybody all the time. You're the one that no matter what your role is, you always step up, Capricorn. This is in your 10th house, which is the double down of you having to do everything. This is also your opportunity in Mercury retrograde to say, enough, I'm not going to do it anymore, right? And by the way, getting combative like you can do, don't do it. Just ride it out. Let the chips fall where they may. You don't have to act on everything, but we know you're going to keep score, Capricorn. This is setting up for more success down the road. It's okay to take a little step back and let it not burn you out. Now, Aquarius, this is a fun time for you. Right? Because in the 9th house, this Mercury retrograde is sitting there in such a way for you to just want to take off. If you're Aquarius, you have travel plans during this Mercury retrograde. By the way, everybody complains or everybody says, oh my gosh, you're traveling during a Mercury retrograde. Well, Aquarius make the most of anything. Oh, your flight was delayed? Have another Cinnabon. Aquarius just sits there and goes like, I wanted to read my book anyways. I can only take the person I'm going to see for so long anyhow. I'm sorry if I'm overcharacterizing you, but I'm incredibly accurate. But Aquarius, one of the things that you really have to do is get back into nature. This is you're a fall person naturally, but this is also your time to be like, I always wanted to see this. I always wanted to go there. I always wanted to do that. Hiking, beaches, whatever your deal is, whether you're mountain or your ocean, it does not matter. But you got to measure twice and cut once on all of those plans. Expect delays, but don't necessarily expect it to be a bad one, right? Like, in other words, we got on the flight and we were 20 minutes delayed leaving. That's the kind of stuff that's going to hit you. It'll be a delay, but it's not going to be tragic, okay, Aquarius? Stick to it and go see the world. Gosh, great position for you guys. Great position. Pisces. That ends all the good news I have for today. I'm only kidding. Listen, this goes back into the 8th house. This is about things such as intimacy and shared resources. This is about where it is that you have the partnership thing that you're trying to recorrect. And then you also have this idea that you want to have balance in everything that you do, right? If you want somebody to step up in your life, now is the time to tell them. You also have to deal with your idea that you are always right. You have to eat crow during this time, right? Also, you don't want to speculate on stuff because Pisces, you're ruled by Neptune. You want to be dreamy. You want to be out there. Well, Mercury is kind of direct and cutting to the core. This may be something for you to deal with. You might be dealing with some trust issues. You might be dealing with vulnerabilities. That's why your communication needs to be very clear during this time, especially when it comes to things like shared resources. Maybe this is about, even business partnerships where you just have to be super clear with what everybody's expected. Maybe this is about home life where you're saying, well, I'm always doing the dishes and the lawn. Oh, why aren't you doing anything? So forth and so on. It's about getting clear definitions and not being afraid of the outcome. It's also about setting the intention. I do want to work with you, but I want to make sure that we are both, even keel in this. I do want to have a life with you, but I want it to look like this with you. This is about making sure that you have the resources at your hand to get to where it is that you need to, right? And don't let the paranoia get the most of you. All right, everybody, listen, this is the Mercury Retrograde Report. I am Conscious Medium Brandon Russ. I am so excited that you stuck around till the end. You have no idea how much that means to me. Helps with my watch hours, helps with all of the entertaining stuff that I'm able to do here on YouTube. This one I'm going to go right to press with, but know that my members actually enjoy these videos typically about a week before they actually become live. There's that, and then there's the other part of discounts with all of the classes that I teach. I have a incredible survey class coming up called Intuitive Development. It allows you to touch everything within intuition, and it doesn't matter what kind of walk of life it is that you're in. Intuitive development helps you become the better whatever you want to be. Anyways, click like and subscribe. Follow my stuff below. Click on the link tree to see more about the class, and I will see you soon. Remember, guys, keep going. Happy retrograde!